Hello everyone, Sabrina here from Scrappy Tales Crafts, and before we get started on this video tutorial, I wanted to pick the winners of last week's blog and video hop. So here is the list of people that were on my video that commented. I went through all the names. I'm going to spin the wheel, and our first winner of a $25 gift card to Scrappy Tales is Irene K. Congratulations, Irene. Here is her comment. She said, "Love the Christmas countdown. So cute." All right, so this list I'm showing you here is from Joy Wilson's blog. So I took everyone who commented on her blog in the hop and I created a list. And you can see there's not very many people who commented on her blog. And I think what happens is a lot of people like to comment on the videos and they may skip through the blogs, maybe just kind of glance at them. So I encourage you guys to always comment on every single blog and video that are on the inspiration hops, because I create these lists from one single person on the hop. So bloggers tend to be less comments. And I always do try to do at least one blog. And the winner for this list is TR's Place. I see you commenting all the time. I think you commented on every post on this hop. And your comment says, "Your card is wonderful. This is a great Christmas release." Thank you, TR. So this list, I believe, is from Biddy Penny's video. And she had quite a few comments. So I'm going through all of those. There were quite a few people that commented on every single video and blog. Thank you everyone who participated. So here I'm spinning, and the winner from Biddy Penny's video is, if I can read that, Project 39 Mini. And her comment said, "Very nice. My favorite is the German American house one. I love the watercoloring you did." So this final list is for the product showcase video, and I'm giving away a $50 gift card for this winner. So there were a lot of comments on this video, and let's go ahead and spin the wheel. I love this little app, by the way. It's called Random in the App Store if you want to check it out, if you have something, to do this for. So the winner of this giveaway is Louise Helowicki, and she wrote, "I absolutely love these advent calendars." So congratulations to all the winners. If you're watching this video, you can email me at info@scrappytalescrafts.com to claim your prize. I'm also going to go in and reply to the winners' comments on the hop, and if I know you on social media, I'll reach out to you that way as well. If I don't hear back within like 72 hours, I'm going to draw a new winner. So if you guys can reach out to me as quickly as possible, maybe by Monday or Tuesday, I can go ahead and send those gift cards. All right, so I am creating a card today, and I'm going to be creating a wedding pop-up shadow box book card. So I'm pulling in the shadow box book die set, and from the accordion die from this set, I cut 4 panels. That's going to create the pages of the book and the walls of the shadow box. I also die cut 2 book covers using this large die from the set here. That is going to create the front and back cover of my book. And then as decorative elements, I die cut the largest decorative frame from that set from Silver Mirror cardstock. And then from the latest collection, I'm going to be using the oval A7 pop-up book add-on die set. This is great for Christmas cards, but it really can work for any holiday or occasion. They're just super elegant ovals that work well with the book. So I die cut 4 of that decorative frame oval, 1 of the solid lacy oval, and then I die cut 2 larger plain ovals, and then I created 2 plain oval frames using the largest solid oval and the smallest solid oval. Here I'm showing you guys how I layered them in order to create that frame. And then, like I said, I have 2 of the larger just solid ovals that are going to be used for layering. So I thought at this point this was all that I needed. I also die cut the decorative strips which are meant to decorate the spine of the book. I I normally add these to the outside of my books, but this time I'm going to add them inside the book. Then from that same set, I die cut those swirls. I die cut the shadow layers from white cardstock, and then the decorative layers from silver mirror cardstock. And these I'm going to use to decorate the back of my book. So I pretty much used every single die in this set. Actually, I know I did, because later on I even used those corner pieces, those triangular looking pieces, for the inside of my books. Right now I wasn't sure if I was going to use them, so I didn't have them pre-die cut, but later on I do decide to use them. All right, and the only other product that I'm going to pull in from another company, this is by Tattered Lace. It's a beautiful couple dancing together. You can see I die cut that couple 3 times from heavyweight white cardstock and once from black. That way I can paper piece the groom's suit. For sentiments, I am using this wedding sentiments from Just Rite stamps. And now I can go ahead and get started creating my card. So I'm going to take the smallest oval from that decorative oval die set. I also have some beautiful pattern paper here. It has silver glitter swirls. And I am adding that on top of my book cover just so that I can die cut both the pattern paper and the card base and ensure that everything is going to line up. So I'm going to have to run this through a couple times to make sure that it cuts through both layers. The book covers I cut from 80-pound cardstock. You can definitely use 110-pound, but I find with these books, because they're so dimensional, I actually prefer to use lighter weight cardstock just because I add so many layers. It does turn out to be a very heavy card once everything is said and done. So here is my die cut oval, and then the pattern paper I'm going to add on top. I created a similar card as this one for the product showcase video for Countdown to Christmas, and so many of you guys wanted a tutorial showcasing how I did it. So this is exactly the same, I guess, tutorial. It's just converted into a wedding card. I added acetate behind my pattern paper, and then I'll add that to the book cover. Now over to the left, that's going to create the spine of my book, so I'm going to reinforce those score lines, and I'm going to do the same thing for the back cover of my book. So this is a solid panel. I did not die cut an oval through it. And this is where I'm going to add my double-sided tape. Here you can see kind of how those two covers attach together. You're going to want to add your tape to one panel to the right of each score line. So I'm using strong double-sided U-line tape here. I'll go ahead and remove the backing. And then I'll bring in my front cover and I'll carefully align these up. So I am lining up the score lines on the front cover with the ones that are on the back cover. Making sure that's nice and adhered, and here you can see how the book is going to open. So now we just have to add the pages of our books. So here are those 4 accordion panels. I like to reinforce the score lines by just folding the lines upwards. You can go downwards, but I find that upwards is easier. So I'm going to do that to all 4 panels. So I'm not creating the accordion yet. I am literally just folding every score line upwards so that when I do the accordion, it's going to be a little bit easier for me. So for 2 of these panels, I will have to trim them down to 4 3/4 inches tall. And that is because I'm creating a 5x7 book. Currently, these panels are sized at 7 inches tall to create the long portion of the card. But to create the shorter end, you'll have to cut that down to 4 3/4. And like I said, you'll need 2 of these for the top and bottom of the book pages. So here I have all of my cut down accordion pieces, and now I'm actually going to create the accordion. So I do that by folding each score line up, then I flip around the panel, fold up, flip the panel, fold up, flip the panel, fold up. And I just repeat that process until I get all the way to the end, and then I set those aside to work on my next ones. All right, so now I'm going to show you guys how you attach these together. I'm starting by creating these little double-sided squares. These are about a 1/2 inch in size, and I like to have these ready to go so that I can attach my accordions together. So the way that you connect the accordions together is there are mountains and valleys that form on each accordion piece. You're going to want to line those valleys up. You can see that they all just intertwine, and then all you have to do is push them together, shimmy them as close together as possible, and then go ahead and adhere the top 2 layers of the accordion. So you can see I fold up the one end on the long piece and the one end on the short piece. And here I'm adding my 1/2 inch squares just to the corners there. You can completely adhere the strips all the way down. I like to just go with squares. That way it still remains kind of puffy and dimensional. So I do the same thing to the back side, where I lift one flap of the short end, one flap of the long end, and just add those squares to each of those corners. So here I'm going to line up the other short end. I'm going to do it again kind of slower and more up close so you can see that every single valley just intertwines together. And once you have everything lined up, you just push both pieces together and they're going to fit really nicely together. I lift up the short end and the long end so that I can add my little squares to the corners. And that's just going to make sure that nothing is going to fall apart. I do like to do both sides. And it doesn't matter if you glue down your short end first or your long end, as long as both of those loose ends are attached together with the squares. So here's my final side. This one's the most trickiest because you do have to line up 2 sides, but it's still very easy. And once you create one of these, you can easily create a whole bunch. And you can even just use this as a shadow box. You don't even have to put it inside a book. And it does fold downwards. It's still pretty dimensional, I will say. So these book cards would have to be mailed in a bubble mailer or have to be hand delivered. But I just love that accordion makes it look like pages of a book. So here I'm just attaching my last corner, and that finishes off my little shadow box. So I'm just going to glue that inside the book cover. I'm going to use a combination of ATG tape and liquid glue. I am being very generous with my adhesive just to make sure that this is going to be nicely adhered inside. And then once that's attached, we can start decorating. And I absolutely love how this card turned out. You know, with birthday cards or like general occasion cards, I don't spend as much time on them. But like with wedding cards or baby shower cards, I definitely enjoy spending extra time because I know that these are cards that are kept. I have kept every single wedding card that I received. And I'm also known as the card girl in my friend group, so I kind of have like a reputation where if I give someone a bad card, like I'm gonna get hounded for it. So all of my cards have to be handmade, and they also have to be the best card of the mix. So I definitely think that this one was the best. It doesn't compare to any Hallmark card, I think. And it's a card that I know they're gonna keep. This is not one that they're gonna throw away like a standard birthday card. This is their wedding card, So I really enjoyed the process and took my time with it. And I can confirm that they loved this card and the little box that I put it in. They said as soon as they saw the box, they knew it was from me. So I'll show you guys that as well. I created a coordinating box to put this in because it's so dimensional, it doesn't fit in an envelope. So I'll show you guys how I made the box, and I'll link to the lady that I found the tutorial for so that you can create your own boxes. I might even try to make it into a die if that's something you guys are interested in, because it literally was the perfect size for these A7 books. I didn't have to add any tissue or bubble, filling inside. It was the perfect size. So you can see I added one oval to the front of the book. I'm going to add another one to the inside cover. Instead of leaving the white card base showing, I decided to add some gray to the background. So I cut down a gray panel, and from that I die cut the largest oval from that decorative oval die set. I didn't go with the small one because I knew it would be very challenging to line it up perfectly with that cutout. So by using the largest one, I was able to center it okay. And because I have that oval frame that includes the largest oval, I was able to hide the gap perfectly. I'm not really sure if that made sense, but in my head it did. Okay, so I love how that looks. I'm not going to do anything else to that part of the book. Now I'm going to switch gears and move on to my wedding couple. I'm going to layer the 3 white die cuts on top of each other just to add dimension. These were all cut from 110-pound white cardstock. And those 3 layers really make a difference. It almost turns into like a chipboard piece, or I don't know, like a dimensional sticker. I just love the look of this, and I don't mind the extra die cutting. And back when I sold cards for a living, my favorite cards to make were wedding invitations. I found that they were the toughest to make because brides are very particular. They know exactly what they want. But there's something about wedding cards, the elegance of them. I went with traditional white, black, silver, but you can definitely change the colors to match your recipient's wedding color scheme, which that's what's great about a handmade card versus a store-bought card, because most store-bought cards are going to be those traditional white and black colors. Okay, so I did paper piece his suit and his hair. I also added vellum behind her dress and behind his suit, just so that there was something there, I guess. You don't have to do that. So I have another silver decorative frame. I don't know if I mentioned this at the beginning, but all these decorative pieces I cut from silver mirror cardstock, and then most of the base pieces I cut from white. So I'm going to attach the decorative oval frame on top of this solid white oval. And here I'm deciding what I want to be the base behind my wedding couple. I went with solid silver mirror. Felt like that made them pop the most. So I'll go ahead and glue them down to the center of that circle. And I want to add dimension. So this is what I did with that Christmas card I featured in the showcase video. All of that dimension was achieved with double mounted foam tape, which I'll show you in a second here. I didn't really care for the plain white frame. It is pretty, but I went all out with this card. So I took some scraps of that beautiful swirl paper that I used on the front cover. I cut them down into 1/2-inch strips, and I'm going to cover the shadow box frame with these strips. Now, you can, if you have one of those wire trimmers, you can create your own solid frame without cutting these strips. It's going to look cleaner. But I knew that I was going to be adding corner pieces that were going to hide those seams where these strips connect. And I also didn't have my wire trimmer at the time, so this worked out perfectly fine. And even if you don't have a wire trimmer and you use these strips, you can hardly notice the seams. I think that looks really nice. I'm going to work on the corners now. So I die cut 4 of the decorative pieces from silver mirror and then 4 solid triangles from the white. You get 2 of each. So instead of having to die cut 4, you really only have to die cut 2. The pop-up book die set also comes with pretty corners if you don't have the oval set, so you can create a similar look using those. All right, so I am just attaching the decorative triangles on top of the solid ones. I think it would also be pretty to have vellum as the shadow layer. And here you can see how I plan on adding those. I want to glue them right on top of my shadow box frame. I think it would also be pretty to tuck them inside, maybe the first layer of the shadow box to hide them a little bit more. But I thought that this was just super elegant. So I'm attaching them down with my art glitter glue. I am gluing on glitter paper, so I was pretty generous with my glue here. And here you can see how that couple is going to be right in the center. And I just love that because I cut out the oval on the front cover, you can see the couple through the front of the book. So here I just keep going. Some of you were probably like, okay, that's good, you can stop now. No, I never stop. So I have the decorative frame that I die cut from the pop-up book die set. I'm going to add that to the left side. So I guess I lied. I thought I was done with that side, but I wasn't. And then here are those strips that I normally add to the outside spine of the book, but you can also add them to the inside. So that's what I decided to do here. And then I think I'm done. I'm going to add a little bit of pearls next to the couple. But other than that, I'm done, I promise. Okay, so I am going to add a gray panel to the inside of the shadow box just to tie in some more gray. And then here's where I'm going to add that double mounted foam tape. So I added it to the largest oval. And it's pretty easy to line up. I didn't have to like do any crazy lineup maneuvers. I just tried to glue it in the center. And if it's a little bit off, it's fine. You can hardly notice. Then I did add double mounted foam tape behind that silver oval. That foam tape, by the way, is from Uline. I will go ahead and link it down below. It's not the best. It's super sticky. I wanted it originally for shaker cards, but I don't typically use it very often because my shaker frames are usually really skinny. So it's great if you want to do things like this where you can add a lot of dimension, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for shaker cards. Anyway, I did add some pearls next to the couple, and now I'm going to decorate the back because there's no area for me to actually write my message, so my message is going to go on the back of the book. I have these decorative swirls you might have forgot about. I'm going to add them to this gray panel. And I kind of wish that I used my scissors to cut around those swirls on the gray panel to create like a shaped piece, but I left it as the gray rectangle and it's fine. I also went ahead and added my message. I'm glad that I did this on the back. I don't hate my handwriting, but I don't like necessarily love it. So I felt like it's hidden on the back. Great, right? So I also added a couple pearls to the front cover, and that's all I'm going to do, I promise. I am going to decorate the spine with some more pattern paper. I didn't want to use that swirl paper because I knew I wanted to use it on my coordinating box, so I found some pattern paper with silver foiled lines on it. It was a pretty close match. So that's what I decided to use. I just cut them into like a little bit less than 1/2-inch strips to cover the binding of the book. So yeah, that completes the entire card. You can see when I tilted all that dimension that the foam tape gives, it truly looks like a shadow box. I love how it turned out. And then here is the back. Now here I wanted to show you, if you want to add money inside, all I did was I added the money inside this silver envelope and I used some silver washi tape and taped it to the back of the card. Okay, so here's my box. Like I said, I'm going to link to Jenny's video tutorial on how you can make these. I'm also going to do another tutorial. I figured this video is already so long, I'm going to just show you how I decorated it. This was also my first attempt at making this box, so I wanted to concentrate fully on it and not worry about, you know, showing the perfect angles on the camera. I wasn't even sure if I would be able to do it because I cannot think dimensionally. Our pop-up die sets are normally created by my mom, so yeah, I just did that off camera, but I will have a video tutorial coming. In the meantime, you can watch Jenny's tutorial. It's amazing, very, you know, well said and easy to follow. Okay, so to decorate my box, I'm going to use those sentiments, which you might have also forgot about. I realized at this point I didn't even add a sentiment to my card, so here's a perfect opportunity to add it to the box. I have a vellum oval here, which I die cut using an oval from my stash. I didn't use it from the die set. You'll see why. I silver heat embossed a sentiment from that stamp set. I think it says like, wishing you a wonderful journey together, something along those lines. And here I have a solid white oval with that silver decorative frame layered on top. You can see that I added that same pattern paper to the front of my box. This was a 12 by 12 paper, by the way, so I used up every bit of it for this project. I have that decorative oval, which I die cut at the beginning of this video. Wasn't sure if I was going to use it, but I did, luckily. I popped that up with single layer of foam tape. I didn't use the double layer. Then I added tiny little glue dots behind the silver embossed sentiment so that you wouldn't see the adhesive through the vellum. I did add a couple small dots of glue to the oval just to make sure that it was nicely attached, and to cover those little dots of glue I am going to add a couple pearls. So I love all of these layers. The vellum sentiment kind of covers that decorative oval, but I think there's just enough showing to make this card look so elegant. Or box, should I say. Okay, so to finish this box off, I have some more of that other pattern paper that I used for the spine of the book. I'm going to use that for the sides of the box, and then for the back of the box, I'm going to use solid gray cardstock. I just love to finish things off. Definitely not necessary. You can just decorate the front. You actually don't even have to decorate the box. You can create the box from pattern paper. I think that would be really pretty. So these strips were already kind of pre-measured, so all I had to do was glue them. So here's that gray panel that I'm adding to the back, and I don't believe I add anything else. Yes. Okay, so here I'm going to show you how the book fits inside. Just look how easy it slides in. It doesn't move around. It's the perfect size. You don't have to add any filling. It's just the perfect size. So I will have a tutorial for this in an upcoming video. Here I'm going to pull the card out. I just love that see-through window. Very unique way to use the pop-up book die set that I haven't done before. So I hope you all enjoyed today's video tutorial. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. Again, congratulations to all the Hop winners and the Showcase winner. I will be reaching out to you as soon as this video is posted. All right, guys, have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye!